In this video, I'll be taking a look at the complete 2001 Planet of the Apes toy line by Hasbro. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's start off by taking a look at the main character Leo Davidson, portrayed by Mark Wahlberg. The figures come on a blister card package. The packaging is consistent throughout the entire line, minus the one deluxe figure. Above the figure is the Planet of the Apes logo. To the side of the figure is a portrait of the guerrilla military officer Atar. This portrait was used on most of the marketing for the 2001 film. Here you have the figure itself. Below is the character's name, as well as the included accessories the figure comes with. Turning around to the back, there is a movie still, as well as a little read-up of the character. Feel free to pause and read. To the side are all the other characters in this toy line. There are 9 in total. Yet another image of Atar. And finally another read-up. Here is Major Leo Davidson out of the package. Let's take a closer look. The head sculpt captures Mark Wahlberg's likeness pretty well in my opinion, especially for a figure released in 2001. Certain angles look spot on. The hair is nicely sculpted and the paint on the eyes turned out great. The outfit on the figure is from early on in the movie, as later on in the film it becomes more torn and dirty. There is a bit of a wash over the white though, to give it a bit of a dirty look. On the left shoulder is the US Air Force logo, in which Leo was a part of. His last name is also present on his jacket. The figure's legs are in a fixed stance. The outfit does contain sculpted wrinkles and folds. The shoes are painted silver. There are peg holes on the bottoms of the feet. Here's a look at the back side. The dirty wash on the outfit continues. Going over the articulation, the head can look side to side. The arms can go outwards. They can also go forwards and backwards. The right arm is sculpted straight and does not contain any extra articulation. The left arm, on the other hand, has a swivel at the elbow. The hands can rotate 360 degrees. The waist can swivel. And as I previously mentioned, the legs are in a fixed pose and don't contain any articulation. The first accessory up for Leo is his space helmet. This is a good inclusion, seeing as the character wore one in the film. The helmet slides right over the head. It is not a secure fit and will move around when handling the figure. While I do like the accessory, I personally don't like the way it looks on the figure. Moving the visor up looks better, I think, as you can still get a good look at his face. The next accessory up is a little blaster. This is basically the only pose the right arm is good for. You can also have him holding it by his side as well. The next accessory up is the tracker. Fun fact is there was a variant of this tracker. While some figures were packaged with the closed tracker, others were packaged with the tracker open. The tracker can be placed in the left hand. The next figure up is Dana, the rebellious female member of the human clan. Here is the name tag and included accessories. The back contains a movie still of the character in the film, as well as a little read-up. Here is Dana out of the package. The reason I am holding onto the figure is because she is the only figure in this line that cannot stand on her own. Due to having no articulation in the legs, there just isn't a way to pose her without her falling over. Dana was portrayed by Stella Warren in the film. I think the likeness is somewhat there. While not as good as the Mark Wahlberg figure, I can tell who I'm looking at. I think the paint on the face was nicely applied. The hair was nicely sculpted as well, and there is a bit of a wash over the hair to give it highlights. Her wardrobe consists of a tattered and dirty low-cut dress. It's meant to be inspired by Nova's outfit in the original Planet of the Apes film. In the film, the outfit is darker in color. The figure went for a more light tan color, but if you look closely, there are some blue highlights. There's an added wash on her forearms to give them a dirty or bruised appearance. Her arms contain sculpted little pieces of fabric. The outfit is made of a softer plastic material. The dirty wash continues onto her knees and feet as well. I always appreciate when figures have added detail like this. There are pecos on the bottoms of the feet. Here's a look at the backside. The added blue on the outfit continues. Another great attention to detail is the figure contains the branded mark the character received in the film. Going over the articulation, the head can look side to side slightly. The long hair does hinder it a bit. The arms can go forwards and backwards. There is a cut at the bicep that rotates. The hands can also rotate 360 degrees. While hindered by the clothing, there is a waist swivel. As I previously mentioned, there is no articulation in the legs. The first accessory the figure comes with is a knife. The next accessory is her spear. The figure can hold on to both accessories. To display her like this, a display stand is needed. The next figure up is Pericles the chimpanzee. Here is his name and included accessories. The back has a picture of Pericles from the film, as well as a little read-up. With the figure out of the package, here's a better look at this cute little chimp. In the movie, Mark Wahlberg's character trained him to pilot space pods on reconnaissance missions. The figure, while small, is nicely detailed. The paint on the head turned out nice and clean. Pericles is wearing a miniature suit like the one worn by Mark Wahlberg. His name tag is included on his sleeve. The left arm has the same Air Force logo as the Leo figure had. The sculpted hair continues onto the hands, and there's even more painted hair on the fingers. The figure has black boots that do contain peg holes. And here's a look at the back side. Going over the articulation, the head can look left and right. The arms can go forwards and backwards. The hands can rotate 360 degrees. The waist can swivel. The first accessory up is the space helmet. Unlike Leo's helmet, this one has a black visor and doesn't lift up. The helmet does still slide over the figure's head. And here he is with the helmet on. The next accessory up is an awesome one. Pericles comes packaged with an actual pod. Out of the package, you will have to insert the clear plastic piece. Just line the piece up with the grooves of the pod and just push in. By inserting the plastic piece, it allows the pod to stand upright. Otherwise, it would fall over. While the design does look like the pod used in the film, it is smaller in scale. As in the movie, Mark Wahlberg was able to get inside. Upon opening the pod up, the Leo figure is too large to fit. The inside does include a chair. The center console even includes stickers for a control panel and a screen. The Pericles figure fits perfectly in the chair. And here he is about to pilot the pod. When the pod is closed, you unfortunately can't see the figure inside, which is a shame, but a great accessory nonetheless. The next figure up is Ari. In the film, she was portrayed by Helena Bonham Carter. Here is the name tag with included accessory. Here is her movie still and her little read-up. Now with the figure out of the package, let's take a closer look. While the figure does look like the character in a film, I think this figure is my least favorite in the line. The paint on the face is once again nicely applied. My dislike just comes down to the design of the character itself. It just has a more human appearance than a chimpanzee. The hair does have a wash to give it highlights. Her outfit turned out really nice. The undershirt has a nice gold wash over it to bring out all the sculpted details. The jacket looks as if it is made of a real silk material. They did a great job bringing out all the sculpted details on it as well. It continues down to the pants also. I love all the sculpted wrinkles and folds in the fabric. There are peg holes. And here's a look at the backside. The same great details continue. Going over the articulation, the head can look side to side. The arms can go forwards and backwards. There's a swivel at the elbows. The hands can rotate 360 degrees. The waist can swivel. And once again, there is no articulation in the legs. The only accessory Ari comes with is a battle flag. Not the greatest accessory, but it's nicely detailed. The design pattern came out clean, and there's even a wash over the sculpted wrinkles of the fabric. Finally, here's Ari posed with the flag. It does add to her display look, but like I said, just not the biggest fan of it. The next figure up is Kroll. It states that the figure comes with one accessory, but it actually comes with two. Here is the movie still and read up. Kroll is the first gorilla up in this toy line, but it's not the last. I love the head sculpt of this figure. The added white paint shows that this gorilla is an older silverback, a one-time general in the ape army. The only thing I don't like about the head is the heavy use of brown paint. In the film there were brown highlights on the hair, but there wasn't this much of it. It is a bit of a nitpick, and I can look past it due to the great sculpt. Kroll's wardrobe is unique looking. There is a wash over the entire outfit to bring out the sculpted details. The hair on the arms is nicely sculpted. I don't like how there wasn't any added brown paint on the arms though. The heavy use of brown on the head looks even more funny since there isn't any more brown on the rest of the body. I do like the designs of the shoes with the toes sticking out. There are peg holes. And here's a look at the back side. Going over the articulation, the head can look side to side. The arms can go outwards. They can also go forwards and backwards. Weirdly, there is no articulation on the left arm itself, but there is a bend at the right elbow. Also weird that the right hand can't rotate, but the left hand can. The waist can swivel. The legs can kick forwards and backwards. The first accessory up is the battle staff. It's a great looking staff and I love the design and sculpt of it. It also contains added paint and a wash. The next weapon is a sword. This accessory was not listed on the packaging, so it's a nice added bonus. It is a great looking sword at that. Due to Kroll's right hand being sculpted open, he can only hold onto the accessories with his left hand. That makes the right elbow bend and not the left even more stranger. The next figure up is one of my favorite characters from the movie, that being the orangutan Limpo, portrayed by Paul Giamatti. The back has a great picture of Limpo, with his mouth wide open. Here's his read up. Limpo was basically the comic relief character in the film. This figure turned out great, so let's take a closer look. The head sculpt is pretty spot on to the makeup prosthetics used in the film. The face is once again beautifully painted, especially the eyes and mouth. I also like the yellowish paint mixed in with the orange hair. The outfit is all blue, which is accurate. There is still a lot of detailed sculpting in the clothing though. I also like how they gave him his larger stomach. The pants have a black wash to really bring out the sculpted lines. Another thing they went above and beyond with is the feet. The toes on the right foot are posed as if he is about to grab onto something. There are peg holes. And here's a look at the backside. Going over the articulation, the head can look side to side. The arms can go forwards and backwards. The elbows can rotate, as well as the hands. The waist can swivel. The jacket is made of a softer plastic. There is a cut in the right thigh that allows rotation in the leg. The first accessory up is the shackles. The chain is made of plastic, but there is a nice black wash over them. The next accessory is the capture staff. The end can be opened up and be placed around the neck of another figure. In the movie it was used on Dana, but unfortunately her figure's hair prevents it from going around her neck. Instead, Leo will have to substitute. The shackles can be placed on Dana though. The next figure up is the first in the Ape Army, that being the Ape Commander. Here are his included accessories. A picture from the movie as well as the read-up. Now let's take a closer look at the army builder of this toy line. This gorilla has a menacing expression. While I do like the head sculpt, it does lack added paint on the hair, instead just going for a solid black appearance. The hair is nicely sculpted though. Moving down to the wardrobe, I must say I love the look of these Ape military uniforms. The Ape Commander's uniform is red in color, but there is added paint washes to really bring out all the sculpted details. They did such a good job, and it doesn't stop there. The beautiful shoulder pads really stand out. They do pop off, so be careful to not lose them. The amazing detail gets even better on the lower half of the figure. I legit cannot get over how good this figure looks. It may just be the best in this toy line. There are peg holes. Even the backside is nicely painted, an area where some toy companies slack on the paint and detail. Going over the articulation, the head can look side to side. The arms can go outwards. The shoulder pads do not hinder the outward movement. Just be careful not to pop them off. The arms can go forwards and backwards. There is a bend at the elbow. The hands can rotate 360 degrees. The waist can swivel. The legs are once again in a fixed stance and have no articulation. The first accessory up is the battle helmet, the final piece that completes the Ape Commander's uniform. The helmet slides right onto the ape's head. I do like the look of the figure that much more with the helmet on. It could have used a bit more of a black wash, but that is just a little nitpick. The next accessory up is the mace. It's a fine weapon, but I would have personally liked to have gotten a sword or a spear. The next weapon up is the club. Once again, not a bad weapon, but too similar to the mace. The Ape Commander can hold on to both weapons at the same time, which is nice. The next figure up is my personal favorite character in the 2001 film, that being Atar, portrayed by Michael Clark Duncan. The back is yet again another great pick from the movie, and here is Atar's read-up. Now let's take a closer look at the Lieutenant in the Ape Army. I absolutely love this one. First off, the head sculpt is amazing. The mouth is sculpted open, showcasing his teeth. Not only is this great so that it differs from the Ape Commanders, but it also has a much more powerful and scary appearance. The hair is yet again nicely sculpted. There is a slight gray wash on both sides of the head, and a brown wash on the forehead, to further look like the costume worn in the film. Atar's uniform is similar to that of the Ape Commanders, but done in black and gray. The torso piece is nicely detailed with sculpted lines all throughout. All the lines in the clothing are painted silver. The silver really pops alongside the black hair. The shoulder pads look great as well. They are removable just like the Ape Commanders. The lower half contains great sculpt and paintwork. There are peg holes. The back looks just as good also. Once again, I'm very impressed with the look of this figure. Going over the articulation, the head can look side to side. The arms can go outwards, but remember to be careful with the shoulder pads. They can also go forwards and backwards. The left arm has a bicep swivel. The right arm swivels at the elbow instead. The hands can rotate 360 degrees. There is a waist swivel. The only articulation in the lower half is a thigh cut that allows the legs to go forwards and backwards. The first accessory up is a tar's helmet. This helmet is black and has added flaps. The symbol on the front is painted silver. It yet again just slides over the figure's head. And a tar looks so good while wearing it. It really complements the rest of the body armor. The next accessory is the sword. It's a great accessory and one that fits the character perfectly. At first glance I thought it was the same sword that came with Kroll. And while the blades are very similar, the hilts are different sculpts. Here's that tar ready to take down some damn dirty humans. The final figure in this line is General Thade, leader of the Ape Army. Thade comes in a deluxe window box packaging and includes his battle steed. Here's a look at the bottom of the box, the side, and the back. Here's a picture of Thade portrayed by Tim Roth, and a little read-up. Now let's take a closer look at this deluxe set and see how it holds up alongside the rest of the line. The horse in this set is beautifully sculpted. I am so glad they included a horse in this toy line. A display base was also included. This was a great idea as the horse is only sculpted with 3 legs touching the ground. The base is meant to look like the rocky ground leading up to the Ape City. As good as the base looks, the horse looks even better. This brown horse is covered in battle armor. Some of the armor is a part of the actual sculpt and therefore is non-removable. Just look at all the sculpted detail, and they did not skimp out on the paint detail either. There is a nice gold wash over the maroon armor. Even the little buckles are painted, as well as the large symbol on the front. The only articulation on the horse is the tail can rotate. Here's a top-down view. I like how they sculpted one leg up to give the horse some character. It makes for a better display. If for whatever reason you don't like the horse on the display base, it can actually be removed. The base just has pegs that plug into the horse's feet. In my opinion though, it looks best just like this. Now we have finally arrived at General Thade. Due to him being able to ride on the horse, Thade is in a much more dynamic stance than the previous figures. I was initially worried that he would only be in a sitting pose to ride the horse, but that is not the case. As you can see, he is able to be posed in a standing position. Looking at the head sculpt, honestly I'm not the biggest fan. It does look like the film in a way, but not as close as I wish it did. I think my biggest gripe is that it looks like he is smiling, and in the movie he always had an evil looking facial expression. That's my nitpick though. You may feel differently. Accuracy aside, the head does still look good. Moving down to the wardrobe, the biggest complaint I have with the figure is the color of his outfit. For some reason they made it maroon on the figure, and in the film his outfit was black. I do love the torso piece with the 2 monkeys. That is a very cool looking armor piece. The gold color really makes them pop. The sculpting on the rest of the wardrobe turned out nice, but is lacking a wash like the previous figures had. It just makes the figure look more plain than it should. At least the little symbols were painted gold. The feet do have peg holes. The backside though is lacking the paint on the 2 monkeys. It's a shame they skimped on this, as they are supposed to be gold like the front side. It definitely appears most of the paint budget for this set went to the horse, and Thade here was a casualty of that. Still a good looking figure, but could have been so much better. Going over the articulation, the head can look side to side. The arms can go outwards as well as forwards and backwards. The arms lack any cuts or elbow bends, but the hands can rotate 360 degrees. The legs kick forward a little, but backwards pretty far. The first accessory up is Thade's helmet. It is much larger and pointy than the gorilla's helmets. It is solid maroon in color and is made of a softer plastic. The helmet just slides over the head just like the previous figures. I don't like this helmet as much as the gorilla's helmets though. While Thade did wear it in the film, a lot of the time he was seen without it. The next accessory up is his sword. I must admit this is one unique looking sword. There are holes cut out all down the blade. The sword can only be held in Thade's right hand. Last but not least, here's Thade fully equipped for battle while riding his steed. While I do have gripes with the Thade figure, seeing it mounted on the horse looks so good. It makes for an awesome display piece. So that is my review of the 2001 Planet of the Apes toy line. Overall, I do think this was a great line. Of course it helps if you are a fan of the 2001 movie, but I still recommend these figures to any Planet of the Apes fans in general. Once again, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. Thanks for watching.